We're going to talk on the Mule Train today about something very serious, and we hope that you will listen and respond. There is a great need for help of children right here in Muleshoe, the Muleshoe area and Bailey County, who have been neglected and abused. And CASA was formed just for that purpose. And we have the Great Plains area, what is it called? Great Plains area?
Great Plains CASA for Kids.
Great Plains CASA for Kids director out of Hereford here with us. And she's going to tell us just specifically about that. And a new board member of Great Plains CASA Board of Directors is Jo Pierson to my left, and she is on the board. Now, you selected a good board member.
I did, and I didn't select her at all. She was just highly recommended to me as being somebody that can really help our program here in Muleshoe, because as you said, we're in desperate need right now of volunteers. We have 22 kids that are currently in foster care.
From Bailey County or Great Plains area?
This is specifically from Bailey County. We have, we really want to make sure that those kids are represented by a volunteer in court. That is the goal of our volunteers, is to go into a court setting that have CPS and attorneys and everybody in there, and educate the judge, tell them what they see as an unbiased person. We want them to go in and tell the judge what they see going on with this case, what they see that the child might need, services or anything that they think is important enough. And that's the reason CASA is around.
Now, does the CASA volunteer interact with the child?
They do. Yes, they do. They are required. We do have state standards that we have to adhere to, but they're required to see a child once a month and talk to that child. There can also be phone contact and written communication. They can write letters. It's not a big brothers, big sisters kind of situation, but you are a person that you want the child to get comfortable with the volunteer. You want a child.
So you want to become, as a CASA volunteer, that child's friend?
You do. You want to have a relationship with the child, that they trust you and that they're going to talk to you because they've been through a horrible situation. They've been removed from their home because they've been abused or neglected. And we want to make sure that they have somebody, there's so many factors that people they have to talk to. We want a consistent person on their side. And we want that child to understand that this person's going to be there for them.
So if you want a friend and a consistent person, you've got then to probably say, I will do this for a certain amount of time. How much time do they need, really, like a year, a month, or 2 years, or what?
We go for a year. We ask everybody to commit a year to being a volunteer. We have cases that sometimes don't take that long. We have cases that go on for a couple of years. And we understand this is a volunteer opportunity. This is, everybody has their own life too. We're not asking you to take away from your life. We're asking to help add to a child's life.
Well, I would think also if you can help a child, especially a child who maybe doesn't have a friend or a constant in their life, well, then that would be adding to your life too.
Exactly. That is one of the biggest things that we have learned here lately. We've had a slogan statewide for a long time that says, make a difference in a child's life. Well, this past year, we've just added a tagline to it that says, and yours too. Mm-hmm. Because that's the biggest thing about it is, you're making a huge difference for a child's life, but I promise what you go through with this child will make a difference for your life too.
Now, Jo, if someone wanted, you're way back there. Let me turn. If someone wanted to become a CASA volunteer, what should they do here in Muleshoe?
You can contact me, Magann Jo Pierson. You can call my cell phone number. It's 806-225-7541. You can call my home number. It's in the book under Wayne Pierson. Magann, I think a lot of people in Muleshoe are familiar with me, know that children have been my passion for a lot of years. I taught special ed. I taught regular ed English in our town of Muleshoe. I am currently not teaching. I am devoting my time to my children and to CASA. This has become a true passion of mine. I have been to several board meetings and have learned the extreme need we have in Muleshoe to help our children. Again, we have a lot of programs at church, different churches. We have a lot of school functions. We don't have a lot of help right now for our children at home in the evenings, children who aren't in school at night, who don't go to church in the evenings. We have kids who are being sent home and are living in an abusive situation. And those kids need our help. Something else for us to consider, these kids might not even realize the situation they're living in.
They may think that this is normal, that everybody lives this way.
We had a case not too long ago that involved an infant here in Muleshoe that was a really eye-opening story for me. That infant was born. That was all. It's up to us at this point to do what we can for these children. Right now, these kids need a body. They need someone who can advocate for them, who can speak for them. These kids need an adult who is willing to give up a tiny amount of time for their sake. Financial help is, of course, welcome and needed, but we need bodies. We need people.
With a heart.
We do. We
body
need people with a heart. Jackie has told me that she would be willing to offer training for volunteers in Muleshoe so that our volunteers won't have to drive to the Hereford office for training. Jackie and her lovely staff will come to us and train. We do ask that volunteers aren't asked. They're made to have 30 hours of training, but it doesn't have to be all at once. Jackie will do that training here. We'll make sure that the volunteers are equipped with every bit of knowledge that they need to deal with an abused child.
Now, do they one CASA volunteer deal with one child or several childs or one family? How does that work, Jo?
Again, it's normally by the case.
So they would get a family.
Typically. Is that correct? We have on our board a volunteer in Hereford. He is a board member, is on the board as a volunteer, however. He has worked with a case that's involved several children, siblings, for several years now. And he spoke with me about how the children have been separated in the foster care, but he has gone to hearings all over on behalf of all the children, even though they're not in one home anymore. He still is a voice for all of them.
And now I think we should sort of point out this isn't foster care. No. You're not taking this child into your home. This is CASA, which stands for what?
Court-appointed special advocates.
Yes. Court-appointed special advocate.
Yes.
And so that...
I think that is the best point that you've brought up. I think a lot of people are very hesitant about volunteering because we are so busy. I have two of the most precious children in this world. Lots of you that are watching know Megan and Tobin. And I don't know that I'd be comfortable as a foster parent at this point with my children, the ages that they are. I don't know that I would do that. But Megan, I would help an abused child in the court system. I would go into a child's home and listen to their story and listen to their family stories. I would get to know the child.
So you talk not only to the child, but the family?
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Who else?
I guess whoever is involved with the child, Megan, because we all know there's more than one side.
A neighbor, a teacher?
Absolutely. There is more than one side to every story. And as a CASA volunteer, we want to make sure that we have the correct and accurate information.
And you are not brought in there when the CPS, Child Protective Service, is taking a child out or placing a child back in a home. This is something completely different.
Yes, all of that has already been taken care of through CPS. Our role as a volunteer is to listen to the child and make sure that their story is told in the courtroom, if necessary. Mainly, a CASA volunteer is going to record specific information that they witness or are told, and they're going to give that information to Jackie in the courts. Not at every hearing is the volunteer going to be required. So a lot of times the volunteer is just going to need to write a very brief statement. So we're not talking about a lot of committed time outside of your family, outside of your home. We're not asking you to bring an abused or troubled child into your home. We're asking for you to get information that could benefit a child.
And to help. And that's a wonderful word, help. Jackie, you're going to help the person who volunteers by really walking them through this process. They're not going to volunteer and you say, here, the child's name, and you can find the child there, are you?
Not at all. Not at all. We have 3 people in our office. We have a staff of 3 people. They will have a case supervisor that is there hand in hand with them, especially when a case first starts. And you're new to being a CASA. It is very hard. It's very challenging because you are going into a system that's unknown to you. You're dealing with foster parents and different things that you might not have ever done before in your life. We are there, right there beside them. But the volunteer is the one who has the passion for the child. And so that's why it's so important to have a volunteer doing it.
And children sometimes don't speak up, and so you are going to give their voice.
Exactly. That's part of this is, we're kind of the eyes and ears of the court is one of the things that we're saying, but we're also the voice of the child.
Now, how many currently do you have here in Bailey County that need help?
Right now we have 22 kids that are 22 kids.
We have one volunteer, Megan.
Only one person, so one child out of the 22 has a voice.
Exactly, yes.
And so these other 21 will go to court without a friend.
We still...
Will the child actually be in court in hearings?
No. The child is always excused from the court hearing. There are areas that have the children come to court, but a lot of the kids that are from Muleshoe and taken from Muleshoe, they're placed in Lubbock. They're in foster care.
In the foster care.
Yes, they're in foster care in Lubbock. So that would take a lot of money and resources to transport a child back here for court and everything. So that's a lot of times why the children...
So do they go to court in Lubbock County normally?
Not really, just because there's not resources to get them there. So that's why CASA is so important, is because we're there as the voice for the child, and to really be somebody who's outside of the system. And going back to your state...
Impartial, too, I would think.
Yes. Yeah, impartial. That's very important because you see things, and that's why, yes, we have staff and we try to cover those cases, those 21 kids who don't have a volunteer on there. As staff, we try to help them out and we try to be there and we know who they are, but there's 21 of them and there's only so much one person can do.
And Bailey County is not your only county, right?
Exactly. We have 5 counties in total. And so, we
5 counties, and they're Bailey,
Deaf Smith, Oldham, Palmer, and Castro. That's our 5 counties.
And your office is in Hereford. To cover this area. How long have you worked with CASA?
I have been here for 7 years. The program started new with me. There was a fabulous steering committee that started this program that help with the state office. Our Texas CASA office is a great resource for us, and they help us as much as they can. And so they came out, helped form a steering committee, saw the counties that kind of could be covered by one office, and they just got the ball rolling with that. And then I started just about 6 months after they officially formed the program. And, we're still fairly new though in this game of it. 7 years isn't just a long time, and to start out with one person and now we've grown to 3. That's pretty amazing things. And just like volunteers, or just like everything else, volunteers are kind of an ebb and flow. We kind of get good on volunteers in our cases, and then we start losing volunteers because we understand that.
And have you ever had more than one here in Muleshoe and Bailey County?
I'm trying to remember that. I think we've only just had our one. We've had some others that have done the training, and it worked better for them to maybe volunteer out of Lubbock or something, which that is perfectly understandable. We try to work with people that you're going to get the most out of it, and we're going to get the most out of it.
Now, Bailey County children normally are heard in court in Bailey County?
Yes. If the case starts here in Bailey County, the case stays here in Bailey County, although the children may be placed all over.
In foster care, but that's a different program.
Yes. We work with, that's what CASA does. We work with everybody who does this, but we report to the judge.
Is it in district court?
It is. It's district court. We have a associate judge that sits in place of the district judge that's specialized with CPS cases. That's all they hear right now. The court associate judge that we don't have somebody permanently in that spot of the judge, but we have a couple of judges that are rotating in, and hopefully in September we will have a permanent judge back in place. The judge that we had who had done this for 10 plus years, he won a district judge position in a different county, but that court goes to 19 counties in the Panhandle. So very much it's a person who cares about the kids too, and who wants all the information involved. That's why they deem CASA as being very high and very respected, because they want that unbiased information that they're going to give them. What does somebody see who's not paid to do this?
Jo, what are the qualifications of a CASA volunteer?
Megan, that's very easy to answer. We need people to volunteer who love to be around children. You don't have to have a college degree. You don't have to have experience working with children. We need someone who's willing to be trained, Megan, and someone who is willing to speak for a child. That's it.
A man or a woman?
A man or a woman. And any information that you might need that we've not covered, please feel free to call me on the numbers that we gave you, or look me up in the phone book, and I can either give you information or I can get a hold of Jackie and provide even more information for you. I do want to let your viewers know, Megan, that we're going to be having a Rotary program. One of Jackie's co-workers is going to come and speak at Rotary. Following the Rotary program, some of you might see me around town. I may be knocking on business doors or calling some residents and asking for some financial assistance. We have one fundraiser for the entire year for our 5 counties. Our fundraiser is in Hereford. It's a dinner and a dance, a fun evening. It's the one and only thing we do for the year. I'll have tickets available, and I'll also be asking for some silent auction donations. So when you see me, don't slam your doors on me. We really need your help. Financial help is also needed, not just volunteers. We have 22 children in Muleshoe today that need your help. Our CASA organization serves 5 counties. Of those 5 counties, Muleshoe has the most need. We have more kids in Bailey County who are abused than in the other 4 counties, period. That to me was a very eye-opening statistic. These children aren't statistics, and they need your help. Let me know if you're willing.
And the number again at your home and cell phone?
My cell phone is 806-225-7541. My home number is 965-2112. I thank you for listening, and I know that some of you would be so wonderful in this capacity.
And we've been talking with Jo and Jackie both about CASA, and that's for you to help a child and give a child a voice who is in need.